Okay, so if you go to today's uh, unit web page, which is here, right? This is today's unit web page. You go to the Google Drive. Well, you will see like there are two things, right? The PowerPoint that I have been using, and also have a zip file, right? So it's pretty straightforward, I think. Now, up to this point of time, you should have a folder like this, right? You should have a folder, something like that, right? So it's unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? Okay, so you should put the ggplot folder in the same label as etc, okay? And that's it. So now in today's code folder, there are 3 notebook: the point, Geom point, Geom bar, and also Geom line. They are mapping to the scatter plot, bar plot, and also line plot. Okay, so I only actually there are a lot of plot type in the ggplot. By the way, have I give you the 我们有发那个电板给他们吗？now 你们 wait a second, I have a gift for you. Okay. 你去我的那个就放饼干嘛。对，那里有一些白色的包之类的，那里面就有那个印好了的 ggplot， 还有 dplyr 的那个像电板一样的东西。对，就是后置版。他有把 ggplot 跟 dplyr 印好在那里，拿个10几份下来，每一样拿个10几份，是在白色的那个包。Okay, so this is the material that we have today. As I say, this package ggplot2 is for DataFrame DataFrame visualization. Okay, so it kind of like map the data frame into some visual presentation. Okay, that's the major purpose of ggplot2, and this is what we want to go through today. I already told you that, right? Exploratory data analysis is all about visualization today. Okay, because today the visualization is much more powerful than in the old days. You will experience the power of visualization today. Okay, we already have some built-in plot in in R, we already have some built-in plot function, right? Bar plot, histogram, scatter plot, the box plot, right? In R, we already have some built-in plotting function, but ggplot is much more powerful than this basic plot. You will experience that power today. Okay, start experience that power today, and so how it works is actually mapping variable to attribute. I'll explain that later, okay? And then after these two principle, I will actually teach you how to use ggplot to do scatter plot, bar plot, and line plot. Well, you will say that this is scatter plot, right? And this is bar plot, right? And line plot. It's easy, isn't it? Why bother, right? I can use the original built-in plot, right? But you will see the difference, right? By the end of this unit, okay? You'll see the difference. Okay, so ggplot is for data frame visualization. Let's cite an example, right? Let's cite an example. Now, for example, this is every bubble is a country, for example, okay? And this is variable is their like GDP, their whatsoever, right? I think based on the X and Y axis, it looks like this is the product category, okay? Every bubble is a product category. And this is the number of sailor in that category, right? And this is the average price of that product category, okay? And the bubble size is the total revenue that product category generate. So this can actually apply to the Tafang database, okay? And then the color is the average score. They are review, right? Kind of like Amazon, right? Product has review, so this is the average score. So I got a gift for you. So, so everyone, you will have a cheat sheet for dplyr and a cheat sheet for ggplot2. So see, no one can remember every detail about these two packages because they are very, very rich, right? So you can use this as a mouse pad, okay? So should be handy for you. Now let's get back to let's get back to class. Now, so the x-axis is the number of seller, the y coordinate is the average price, and the color is the average score, and the bubble size is the total revenue, okay? And you can see that there is a year, right? So this bubble can move, okay? If you have multi-years of data, multi-periods of data, this bubble will actually move on this space, okay? This is what we mean by dynamic visualization, okay? So the way that ggplot do visualization is actually it map each of this subject, each of this row, okay? I say each row is a subject, right? So it will map each subject into a plotting element. In this case, a bubble, okay? You will map each row into a bubble, okay? And you will map the variable as the attribute of the bubble. For example, its x coordinate, its y coordinate, its size, its color, its shape, right? That is the way that ggplot visualize your data frame, okay? So it's all about data frame visualization. And the way you do it is actually map each row, each subject into one plotting element, okay? And then it map the variable as the attribute of that element. For example, its x, y coordinate, its color, its shape, and its size, okay? So in this way, you can compare the attribute of all of the subject, isn't it? In this way, you can compare many attributes at a time, right? right? Okay, so the purpose is to compare many attributes of many subjects in a plot, okay? And that's what we mean by data exploration, right? Because after all, data exploration is about comparison, right? If you only want to see the average, right, you can do a statistics. You don't need to do plotting, right? The reason that you want to do plotting is you want to do comparison, right? Okay? And in this way, by mapping the subject into a plotting element, by mapping the column into the attribute of the plotting element, you can compare all of the subject, and you can compare a lot of attribute in one plot. Okay? That is the philosophy of data visualization, and that is the connection between visualization and data exploration. You get me? That is the most important thing. Okay. Okay, and now this is the syntax. Syntax is actually quite simple. Pay attention to the color because the color means something in this page. Okay, so ggplot, this is the function call, right? You want to make a plot, you make this function called ggplot, and the light blue thing is the data. Okay, you need a data frame, right? I told you this is DataFrame Visualization, right? So you need to give it a data frame. This is the data frame. Now the iris data frame, iris is actually a kind of flower, okay? Okay. So in this data set, they are 150 flowers, okay? And there are three species, okay? And the x and y coordinate represent the sepal width and sepal length of each of the 150 flowers, okay? And the color represent each species, okay? So in one graph, you actually see the sepal length and sepal width of all of the 150 flowers, right? And you also see their species, okay? So you can see that at a glance, you can see that see all of the this pink color flower, they have a larger sepal width but have a lower sepal length, right? Because they are in this area, right? So they have a larger sepal width and lower sepal length. And you can also see that the sepal length and sepal width are in, right? They have a positive correlation, isn't it? Right? Okay? So at a glance, you see you have a holistic, a systematic view of the entire data set, right? That is the beauty of plot, okay? Because at a glance, you can see a global phenomena, right? You can see the global structure, global trend of the entire data set, right? Now, go back to the DataFrame data set. Now you have a total of like 180,000, right? 180,000 data, right? If you do not use plotting, it's impossible for you to get a holistic view of the situation, isn't it? Right? So you need to aggregate the data, and then you do visualization. It will help you to get a systematic, holistic view of the entire situation, right? Help you to see the structure, the trend, and also the phenomenon that in a holistic way, right? So now, okay, so but how did we make this chart in ggplot? Of course, first of all, you need to give it the data frame, and then you need to do the mapping, right? Because in this data frame, we have a column called sample width, we have a column called sample length, and we have a column called species, right? We want to map sample width to the x coordinate, sample length to the y coordinate, and species to the color. Okay? You see that? Okay? And that mapping has to be placed, has to be placed in this AES function code. Okay? So first of all, give it a data. Second, specify the mapping. Okay? And the third thing is you want to build you want to map each column into a point, right? So you do geom point. Okay? The geom is actually specify the geometry, specify the plotting element, okay, that you want to use to represent each row of your data, okay? And in this case, we want to represent each row as a point, right? So we call geom point, okay? And then besides the x, y, and also color, this geom point also have some attribute, right? For example, its size, its shape, okay? And the size and shape, they can, but in this case, we did not map them into column, okay? So these are kind of like a static attribute, okay? X, Y, color, size, shape, they are all attribute of that element, right? And some element we map it to data, and some element we put them as static, right? The static things you specify here, right? And the thing that you want to map into data column, you specify them within the AES function code. Simple, isn't it? You get me? You get a point? Okay? Now this is the syntax. This is the syntax. This two line is the syntax to make this plot out of this data frame. Okay? So first of all, you need to code ggplot, right? The second thing, you need to give it a data frame, right? And then you specify the mapping, right? The mapping between data column and this geometry attribute, okay? And then you specify what type of geometry you want to draw, okay? If you want to draw scatter plot, you use geom point, okay? And then if you want to specify some of this static attribute, right? You can specify within this geom point. Actually, you don't need to do that. They have a default, okay? If you do not put these two things, you can still draw a very beautiful plot. But I just want to demonstrate that if you want to include some static attribute, this is the way to do it, okay? Okay, so this is good enough. Let's go back to our notebook and start to do some practice, okay? Now the first notebook is geom point, and this is the code, geom point.rmd, and the notebook is here, right? Geom point HTML. We already explained this, right? So now this is the basic setting, right? don't worry about that. Now this is the iris dataset. As I told you, this is the built-in dataset in R. Because it's built-in, so you don't need to read it from somewhere. You just say you want to see iris, and that is the iris dataset. And this is the way that I make the chart. Okay, let's see how we can do it in RStudio. Now, if this is the first time you are using ggplot, it will take a while because you will have a lot of package to install. Okay, so this code chunk might take a while, but okay, but after that it should be quick. Okay, and then now this is the global setting. And see, this is the head of iris dataset, and this is the code that we build the chart. Okay. Some of you, the chart might appear here. Okay. Might appear beneath the. You actually can do the setting here, right? Just like. Show output in console, show output inline. If you choose show output inline, the output will be here, right? If you say show output in console, the output will go to here and here. Okay, so now as I say, you don't really need to put this static attribute. Okay, this static attribute if you don't specify them, then still you can see the plot, but the default shape is circle, right? It's point, and the default size is this is the default size, right? Okay, unless you want to change the default size and default shape, and you don't need to do anything. Now about the theme is actually just a set of it's just to set the font family, the font size, and actually the background color, that type of things, right? If I do not specify theme, it actually have a default theme. Okay. This is the default theme. It's the gray background. Okay. So it's quite easy, isn't it? You have a data frame, and then you say you want to draw the a scatter plot out of this data frame, right? And the only thing you need to do is specify the mapping, right? Specify the mapping, and then stop. Okay. So any question up to this point? It's good, right? It's good. Okay. Now let's get back to the comics data set. Okay. You are already familiar with the comic data set, right? So let's have some more fun with this comic data set. Let's read them in. Still remember this comic data set? What? Oh, sorry. I need to set here as the working directory. Okay, before I can read the file, right? Remember that? Okay, so after reading it, you can see it, we have a data frame called D, right? And this is the comic data frame, data set actually. Publisher, names, align, eye, hair, sex, alive, and the number of appearance, the year that it appeared. Okay. Now, if I want to do a scatter plot out of it, right? Because we only have two numeric we only have two numeric column here, right? The other, they are like categorical, isn't it? Right? So if we want to make a scatter plot, now naturally you will choose like appearance and year as the x and y axis, right? So so you can like put them. Actually, I should say this. But you can spell that because if you do not type the argument name, the first argument is x, the second argument is y. Okay, so you actually do not need to say that. So it's simple, right? Just Geom plot, data frame, mapping. I'm mapping year to x, appearance to the y coordinate, and then I do Geom point. See what happens. See, this is the plot. Quite beautiful, isn't it? But is it useful? I mean, you make a plot like this, right? It looks pretty, and that what can I do with it, right? It looks beautiful, but is it useful? I cannot even tell who is this point, right? Who is this point? Who is this point? Isn't it? So scatter plot is good, but it's not good enough, isn't it? Right? It's not good enough. So we have some exercise for you. Okay. In this exercise, I want you to put color, okay, and shape into AES. Okay. As a group exercise, right? Okay. I want you to put color and shape into AES. Okay. And I want you to plus a scale. I mean, after this, do a plus, and then do scale y log 10. Okay. And then you do a plus, do another plus facet rep equal to publisher. Okay? Okay. I want you to do it by yourself. Change the code and observe its effect. Okay? Do these three things. First of all, add the thing here, right? At the right within the AES. Okay? And the second thing is to add this phrase after the Geom point. And the third thing is to add the things in the after the last phrase. Have you done that? I want you to do it and see its effect by yourself. Okay. Anyone need more time? Raise your hand if you have not finished. Should be very easy, right? I want you to do it by yourself and experience its effect. Okay. Do it already? Raise your hand if you are finished. Okay. Only one people finished. Do you have any problem? Tia, can you go help them? Raise your hand if you need help. Okay. Tia can go help you. Raise your hand if you need help, okay? Tia can go help. Or maybe, yeah, you can help. So you do this okay, right? Finish it? Yeah, sorry? What have you seen? Yeah. Yeah, you have two pen, right? You have two panel. You can see that. You see finish it? Okay.
She had a problem downloading the data set. It's giving her a file, an error message.
Okay. So maybe have you set your working directory? Have you set your working directory? You cannot read the file, right? Yeah, that's because you do not set your working directory. You need to
Do it every time, right?
Yeah, you need to do it every time. Is it working? Not working? Okay, I'll try to solve that for you later, okay? Let's move on, okay? Now, don't worry about that. Just look at me, right? Let's see how we do that. So the first thing is easy, right? We want to put the color and the shape, right? So just put it here. Now you have the color and shape, right? You have the color and shape. And then I want you to add this thing. So what is the effect of this face? What is the effect of this phrase? Anyone can say that? You have done it, right? So what is the effect of this shit, of this thing? This is before this one, right? So after I do this, what is the effect? Yeah, it's a scale y log 10, right? It changed the scale of the y scale, right? It changed the y scale to the log scale, right? Why do I want to do that? Because most of the data is like, you see that, right? Because the distribution of the data like squeeze to the bottom, isn't it? I want to pull it up, right?
So it's like kind of
Let me do it. Right now it's linear scale, right? So this is 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, right? And because most of the character they have very low, right, number of appearance, so it's very crowded on the bottom, right? When this happen, you want to do a log scale. See its effect. See it, okay? See? Because right now here is 1,000, right? Here is 100. Here is 10, isn't it? So the log scale has the effect to like pull up the data, make it easier to observe. Okay, so this is the effect of log scale, right? Before the log scales, everything is clouded in the bottom. You can even see a thing, right? It's still very difficult because you have 7,000 points on the plot, right? Still very difficult. And then the last thing I want to do is I do a facet. You see it? I actually put it into two pan, right? Okay, and this panel is for DC, and this panel is for Marvel, right? Okay. Okay, so in this chart, how many variable have we used? We use the year of first appearance, the number of appearance as X and Y coordinate. We use color for sex. We use shape. We use shape for align, right? And we actually use panel to distinguish publisher, right? So in one picture, we actually compare how many variables? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5 variables. So this is the way that we can use plot to help us compare the attribute, but still it's not very useful, isn't it? Okay, if I ask you, what is the which character has the largest number of appearance? You know that it's this point, right? But who is this guy? Still did not know, right? You still do not know, right? And if I put the name on each of this point, it'll be like too clouded, right? You will see nothing, right? Okay. So when you are doing data visualization, this is not good enough. It's good, but not good enough, right? Okay. So it shows the detail, but it's too much detail, and we cannot see the specific data, right? That is the problem, isn't it? It shows the detail, it do show the information, but you cannot use it, right? So what is the solution? Now in this code, I try to make it useful. Okay, so let's see how I do it. Okay, so this is the data frame, right? I group by publisher. Okay, group by publisher, and I do a top n weighted by appearance. Okay, so in this line of code, I actually pick 100 top appearance character from each of the publisher. You see that? Okay, so in this line of code, I actually pick 100 top appearance character from each publisher. You see that? Okay, so if I want to see like 7,000 character in one chart, there's no way to see it, right? So I only pick like 100 top appearance character out of each publisher. Then I put it into the ggplot. Okay, so again, it's year, appearance, sex, align. I put a label here. Okay, I put a label here, and then these two things we already explained, right? Okay, and then in the Geom point, I put the alpha. Alpha is to set some transparency, right? If I do not set alpha, it will be non-transparent, right? So when you are too cloudy, you want to have some transparency. And then black white, as I say, it was just to set the sim for clarity. And then I changed the smaller font. The font is too large. It's difficult to see, right? And then actually you don't need to do this. This is just to make the chart beautiful, right? Okay. And let's see. And then instead of plotting the object directly, I set the plot into an object called GG, right? Okay. Because if I do it this way, it will generate the plot directly. So far, I don't want to generate the plot, okay? I set the plot into this object called GG, right? Okay? And then after the GG, I do a GG plotly, okay? Now this GG plotly make the chart interactive, okay? So interactive is very, very important, and it's the most important improvement in data visualization, okay? In the R environment. Now you can see the name of each of this, right? Of each of this box, right? This is the top 100 appearance character in DC, and this is for Marvel, right? Now you can see the male bat, male female. Let just try this thing, right? Let's try this thing. If you hover over each of the point, you can see its detail, right? For example, this one is Batman, right? Okay, so Batman is like appear in 1939. Wow, it's in World War II, right? Okay, so it's still in World War II, and like you can see the detail, right? Okay. So in this chart, it's more clear, right? You can see the detail of each point, right? And then if you click or double click the legend item, right? For example, if I want to only see the bat male, okay, bat male is here, right? If I double click on this one, I will only see the bat male, okay? Okay? And I can actually, if you do a single click, you basically turn on or turn off this category, okay? And if you do a double click, you actually only see this category, right? You can turn on and turn off, right? The entire category by single click, okay? And by double click, you basically only see that category, right? Okay. Okay. Now, and then if you double click again, it will bring back all of the points, okay? And you can also zoom in, right? If for some reason I want to see this area, right? I can zoom in, right? Just pull and drag. You can zoom in, right? And if you want to zoom out, here is a house, right? Click this, it will zoom out, right? Okay? So this plot, this GG plotly function is very powerful. It makes the chart interactive, right? It makes the chart interactive. Because if I just do this GG, the plot is static, okay? I can show you. If after doing this, if I only see GG, the GG is a static plot. You do not have the interactive capability, right? To make it interactive, you need to set the object in an object name and then do it in GG plotly. And that would make the plot interactive, okay? If I do this. Now it is interactive, okay? Okay? So it's very easy to make a GG plot interactive, and interactive is very, very useful. Okay? So So let's do some exercise, right? Okay. So with this interactive chart, right? I think it would be easier to do it here. Okay. So with this chart, I want you to answer these 3 questions. Who are the most appealing characters in DC and Marvel? Who are the most appealing female good character? How the number of high appearance neutral character varies in time. Okay. I want you to answer these 3 questions with this chart. Okay. 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 Let's take a break, and then we will go back at 11:10, and then we'll discuss these 3 questions. Okay. And during the break, if you have problem making this script, you can come to us so we can solve it for you. Okay. Anyone has problem making this chart? Come to me or come to Tia. You can all use this chart, right? Good. Very good. Let me turn off the video first.